Hi there, Corby Midline, your no bullshit psychic, with our weekly reading. This is going to be for the week of July the 5th. Now, one of the things that if you go back for my heavy duty astrology buckle up post a few days back is on Tuesday is when Uranus shifts into Gemini. And remember, it's there for 13 years or so. The way this works for us is it talks about changing forever how we communicate, connect with others, learn, teach. It says, get ready for shocking news or events, like we haven't seen this already. Disruption or dramatic shifts in education, a focus on air quality, social pattern shift, more diagnoses of anxiety, what we read, how we shop, how we buy things will shift and change. There's also going to be speech for the sake of shock value. I mean, look at, let's have 67 million people eaten by alligators. It's going to be a tough 13 years, but not as in we can't survive it. But this is when the big change happens. We will likely in the next 13 years see more and different political parties. There may be constitutional changes because we're seeing where the Constitution has not protected us before. So this week, when I did the reading, it was very, very clear that Spirit had a specific message for us. And the first card that I pulled was connecting, but this is what I call the paw touch card. Notice that the cats are together watching the sunrise, but only their tail tips are touching. What I would say this means is, look, last week was literally a shock to the system with the big bastardly bill. This week, it's all right if you feel you need to back off from everything, even from friends, and just gather yourself inside, figure out what you're thinking, how you're feeling. The next card is the King of Cups. And I would recommend that you look at whoever is the most loving, supportive male in your circle, whether it's your dad, your husband, your brother, your son, a partner, because while we're backing off from the great maelstrom, the crowds, we need to know who has our back. And it could be that strong male presence is just how you see Source, God, all that is, in one of its male forms. The next card is the Rest and Cleansing Moon from the Spirit of the Wheel deck. Balanced relationship, self-expression, and boundaries. So again, take a look at the relationships you have. See if there is balance. See if you're allowed to express yourself, and make sure your boundaries are respected. Even with those that are our best buddies, sometimes we just need them to shush, go, let us work out things ourselves. And this may be one of the weeks for that. The Fairies card, well, himself comes back. Now, himself is the ideal male, our action principle, our inner male. So we have two heavy male cards this time. What that is saying is not that women can't do anything. Because remember, we all have male and female inside us. This is the time to look at your strength, your courage, your ability to stand your ground. But you don't have to prove it outside. This is inner work this week. What Ganesh has to say is, what's your sustenance? Sustenance can be food. It can be those things that you do that still bring you joy. Those things you know about yourself that feed your identity in all positive ways. You know, people talk about, yes, we're in the middle of the war, but find joy. And there's an old tale about a man who was chased by a tiger and fell off a cliff. And he grabbed hold of one branch, and the choice was being eaten by a tiger or falling to his death. But by the branch, there was one strawberry plant with one strawberry, and he chooses in that moment, no matter what's around me, I will take this moment of joy, and he eats the strawberry. That's kind of where we have to be now. When we find a moment of joy, we take it without guilt. Ignoring a moment of joy now doesn't make the pain elsewhere less painful. Taking that moment of joy is a little bit of armor, is a little bit of easing inside. It's time to walk away from the things that have not served you. Sometimes we try to save people who can't be saved. Sometimes we try not to look at collapse in the face. It is time to walk away from the desperation of not knowing. You can acknowledge what's happening, but you don't have to wallow in it. That's part of your boundaries, and that's part of pulling back that very first card, that little connection, to make sure you understand what you need to do to take care of you. The philosophy card is don't compare. What you need is going to be different from what someone else needs. Don't tell them that, don't you understand what you're doing is wrong, how you're living is wrong, this isn't going to work. This week, the only person you're going to take care of is you. And that's not being selfish. That is the old idea of you can't give others to drink if your cup is empty. So the two angel cards we're getting this week, it's Shamael. Be serene. We're in the middle of the maelstrom. You can't hold it back. You can't tell it not to happen. Realize that this is the beginning this week of the major changes. They have taken their masks off. We know all the horrors. Now what we have to do is go inside, remind ourselves that we chose to be here. Our souls chose to be here. We all have a part to play, even if it's just for one other person, some animal, some garden. And this is the beginning of change, good trouble. On the other side is going to be the America we want. But you got to go through the slogs and the sewage and the tar pit first. But on the other side is everything we want. Have a good week, my friends.